Welcome, everybody. My name is Gayla Kilgour. Thank you for joining me for introducing you to the IAACD 2024 Listening and Sharing session. This year, our session is called Families Who Care for Them, and I'd like to introduce you to Richard, one of our parents. Morning, Richard.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I am blessed. It's a very good day.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Would you like to introduce yourself to our global audience?
Well, I am a 59-year-old father of three with a daughter who was born with a congenital heart defect, and it presented at 4 months old. She had a heart attack and a stroke. And the last 20 years have been guiding her through the recovery process, most of which has been stroke-related damage.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So our topic for this year looks at families, and it's a really broad topic that asks who cares for them. So I'm wondering if you'd like to tell us what that topic means to you.
Well, as I've been thinking about this, I've been focused on the fact that Melissa's family, my wife, and my family all live about 500 miles away. And so we have no support system of family to pick up the slack, give us a break, help us get through a rough situation. The entire 2 decades we've been dealing with this, we've been dealing with this from the approach of we've got to take care of each other. When one person's having a bad day, the other person picks up the slack and vice versa. And at the same time that we're doing that, we have to look at the entire family unit. Our daughter has two older brothers, and we worked very hard to make sure that their lives were as normal as possible, so that they weren't paying the price for all the extra care that was going into their sister. Now, whether or not we were successful at that, you'd have to ask them, but we tried very hard. And so, it's a combination of geography that dictates how much support we do or do not get. And this is exclusive of her medical team. Her caregivers medically have been absolutely amazing. And we just take it a day at a time. We try to keep life as normal as possible.
Awesome. That's a really, really great insight because, we had a quick discussion about location is really important as far as, do you live rurally, semi-rurally, in a city, or in that sort of situation as well, culturally, do you have people near you? So in your case, like you said, it's just your family unit and you don't have that family support physically close by. So I think that's really common now for lots of families, and that is a big deal. So if people are thinking about this topic, and like I said, there might be panel discussions, there might be talks on this, there might be interviews with people. Every country has a choice of what they decide to provide. What would you like people to consider when discussing this topic? So families, who cares for them? What do you think would be important to be brought up?
Well, the one thought that's been going through my mind all morning as I've been thinking about this is this whole concept of where are we physically and how close are we to a support network? I live in a semi-rural small town. Somebody dealing with what we've dealt with who lives an hour west of me would be deep in the heartland of Kansas and might not have much of a support network at all. And I kept wondering, how do those people cope? Who supports them? Is it their church family? Do they live in a small town where their whole family is there? Are they out alone in the middle of the country? And it's actually making me wonder, do we have enough physical support networks where people can get together to get the support that they need? And that is something that really needs to be driven by the parent community. I think we need to do it for ourselves.
Wow, that's really interesting. It's so interesting. And do you think, as a parent of a child with a disability who, life is really busy and often at times stressful, do you think that's something that is easy to do, or do you think that's, has moments where it's just challenging and impossible to do?
In terms of, is it challenging and possible to get people together?
Yeah, and trying to form those connections, particularly, like you said, if you live somewhere that's very small, or even if you live somewhere that's really big and busy and maybe more impersonal.
Everybody in life, in society, seems to be so busy. Making schedules work is very difficult. And it really would come down to, does each person feel a need for a support network? Are they willing to make the time sacrifices and commitments and the travel to make it work?
Mm.
And that is as varied an individual as there are families with this situation.
Yeah, so interesting. I really love your concepts. And I said to you, we're going to have some families from different countries that we're going to ask for their opinions as well. So I think it's really lovely to get your voice from where you live in your town in America, and what's supporting you as your family and who's caring for you. And really interested to hear from other families, and also really interested in our global sessions, which, like I said, occur over the 24 hours on the 29th of December. And we'll hear voices from all over the world. So thank you so much, Richard, for your contribution, and really looking forward to the sessions, and hopefully you can join some of them.
Sounds good to me. Thank you very much for taking the time today.
Lovely, so much. Thank you.